Maybe it'll work now. I don't know. So if you are in YouTube and you're waiting for video, I don't know what to tell you. YouTube tells me it has an excellent connection. It may be lying to me. But, oh, hey, there I am. I think I'm on YouTube now. So yeah, energy. Energy's real. And, for some, full moon energy is really, really good. And, it really helps you get the stuff done, get the rest, accomplish the things, because the energy of the moon is fantastic. And for others, it's, you really just want to sleep, for crying out loud. Hi guys on YouTube. And for those of you who have a hard time with the new moon, yep, I've got issues there too. And sometimes I just don't sleep very well at all on the new moon. It's almost worse for me than the full moon. So I see Sonia and Lucky and Marie. Hi, y'all. Yeah, it's just interesting. Moon energy. It's real. Hey, Kai. Hi, Carlton. Proxy by Kai. And Nightshade. Hello, Brent. Chris Jarvis. Yeah. Hey, Titan. I'm going to stop saying hi because I'm going to lose track of myself. And I had a thought. Sort of. Sometimes, instead of trying to do the workings and the cleanses and all the different things when it comes to the full moon energy, sometimes it is better to just take a deep breath and bathe in the moonlight. Maybe that means you sit and meditate in the moonlight. Maybe that means you open the curtain, let the moon shine into your space. Although I will tell you that moonlight, full moonlight, when you are trying to sleep, can often give you some interesting dreams. Yeah, some very interesting dreams. Sometimes you don't dream at all. There's all those things. So, yeah, just part of the reason why you're doing the journal, right, is because if something comes up in the full moon or the new moon, you notice it, you can feel it, you journal it, and you can track it. That way, if you do have some problems getting rest on, say, the full moon, maybe you can take a nap the day before or acknowledge that you may need a nap after. So, same with the new moon. But, yeah, journal. I'm working on it, I promise. Tonight, the show title is, are you rough around the edges, or are you a little bit more smooth and polished? Because I wanted to talk about crystals and stones a bit. I work in a rock shop, so we have a wide variety of rocks and crystals and gems and semi-precious and just all sorts of good stuff in the shop where I work. It's fantastic. And some people come in and they want only rough stones because they feel the energy is better for the stones, the stronger properties or something like that. Kai, I would love to come visit. Just saying. And then some people say that the polished stones have better energy. Some say, well, it doesn't really matter. A rock is a rock is a rock. So we're going to talk about it a little bit tonight. And also some of the shapes that you might find stones in and how that impacts the energetic qualities as well. And as you can see, I'm holding a microphone rather than speaking into the one I normally use because the gremlins that I live with that are fuzzy and purr and sit on keyboards apparently stole something. So, yeah. Good times. So, anyways, on to the show. Yeah, they call it the crystal controversy, which I think is hilarious. Because, we do hear, people asking about it all the time. Some people do natural stones carry or contain more raw energy. And some do feel that way. They really do, because they're more directly from Mother Earth, um, and it's more likely or closer to the natural form, if you will. Although, if you stop and think about it, if you've ever gone mining at all or rock hounding, often the rocks that you collect or that are rough are actually broken off from other things, so they've been altered, and they're not as natural as you might think. Some of them, for instance, like tourmaline or selenite, or a lot of those type materials, if you drop them, they break, or whatever, they break along natural fissures and natural faults. And so it's it's closer to nature, I guess. But sometimes you do need a polished stone, just because, for instance, maybe you want to carry it in your pocket. A polished stone is going to fit in your pocket a little bit better. It just is. Sometimes the rough edges catch on your clothes or snag in your hair or rub your skin raw, depending on, like, if you're wearing it as a necklace or something. So you do need to be a little careful, because some of those stones have extraordinarily sharp edges that can cut you. Think about obsidian, for instance. Once upon a time, obsidian was used to create blades by those who... well, it was high technology at that point. Obsidian blades were real. Obsidian arrow points were real. There's an art form to napping obsidian, as Knapping, and they can be surgically sharp, as far as how sharp it is, and you got to be careful with that. So, if you are sensitive to the energies from crystals and stones, you may be more susceptible or more sensitive to the energies of the rough stones, just because you are. And some are smooth, just for that purpose. I carry a piece of serpentine, and I left a lot of my stones actually sitting on my dresser, because I'm already in my pajamas, guys. And it's got a little bit of a rough edge to it, but it's shaped in such a way that it's a natural worry stone for me. So I'll carry it in my pocket as a worry stone, because it's really easy to use, and it's kind of a touchstone. Serpentine, by the way, is a kind of a green color, like a lime green, if you will. And it's a healing stone. It's good for healing, which makes sense since I'm dealing with stuff and my my shoulder. Yeah. Nightshade asks, do surgeons still use obsidian scalpels? Probably not, just because they are a little harder. Well, not necessarily harder to get clean, because you can run them through an autoclave, because obsidian is quite hard. Excuse me. And it's just a little harder to put a handle on. If you were in a pinch, yeah, you could use obsidian scalpels if you had to. Because, yeah, they are pretty doggone sharp. Let's see. Raw versus tumbled. So, are there any real differences? Short answer, no. But yes. Raw stones are really just that, raw, untouched, untreated, and found just the way you like them, or found them. So, for instance, raw selenite is often, you can cleave off little shreds, if you will, of selenite. Polished selenite often has not necessarily been treated, but it's smoother, and so it doesn't fracture quite as quickly. Garnet, for instance, in rough, is not necessarily very pretty. Often looks very rusty on the outside, and that makes a little bit of sense. But you can't really see the quality of the stone when it's not polished or cut or anything like that. So it's like, hey, look, gravel. Actually, a lot of rocks look like gravel, shockingly. Yeah. And a lot of times the raw stones, they come in all sorts of shapes and sizes. Grains of sand, and garnet sand is real. It's diamond sand is real. It's stuff they use in water jets and sandblasting, that kind of thing. And large natural formations. Well, pretty much the sky is the limit there. The local rock shop, 0 Point Crystals, has a rather giant Earthkeeper type quartz crystal with a rose quartz interior. That's about 5 feet tall and weighs just under a ton. It's a huge piece. When it was installed into the store, it had to be brought in via forklift, which is insane to me because it is just that big and heavy, and it's beautiful. Oh my stars! And the rose quartz that grows through it, they consider it a heartstone, so it's an Earthkeeper type sentinel stone. A very, very beautiful standalone. I believe there's a comparable in the Smithsonian, I think is where it's at. But getting big stones like that is harder for a private collector, because most of us really don't have the 7 or 8 figures necessary to go purchase one of those and have it shipped back. But yeah, it's awesome. So a lot of the softer stones are going to be in smaller pieces if you find them raw. For instance, mica is a very, very soft stone. And so you don't see a lot of big sheets of it, big flakes of it. It comes across as more little pieces, like smaller than a dime here in the U.S. And they are pretty cool, just because they do have that straight up fantastic energy. They just do. For me, I do prefer some stones 100% rough edges, just because I like the texture, and for me it's comforting to grip sometimes a rough stone versus a smooth stone. But that's kind of a personal preference. Tumbled stones do have to go through a process of some sort to smooth them out. Often it's tumbling in a drum with some sort of sand to basically take away the rough edges and polish it, and you can change out the different grits or textures of sand to get a smoother and smoother finish. And that smooth finish is often very, very appealing. For instance, an obsidian plate is often or obsidian sphere is really, really appealing, because you can do scrying in an obsidian plate, especially when it's very, very polished. The crystal ball that I have, you can't really see it because there's no light on it right at the moment. That's doggone smooth. It really is. It's photo quality. It's so smooth. And so, it wouldn't have that same type of precision or fantasticness to it if it wasn't polished. And that smooth finish, sometimes that's what people prefer to hold in their hand, because they're not as distracted by the texture, so they can see some of the visual characteristics of the stones better. For instance, star garnets, star sapphires are you don't really see the stars if they're not polished. Mary, it looks like you have some questions. Is it about rocks, or is it about North American geography? Because it's kind of complicated. Anchorage is up close towards the Arctic Circle in Alaska. Alaska is north of Canada, so similar to Hawaii, is separated from the continental U.S. by the ocean. Alaska is separated from the continental U.S. by Canada. And Canada's full of friendly folk. I don't know if that helps Okay. Well, if you have questions, dear, please do ask. Now, stones and crystals do have varying hardness. There's a whole scale. And if a stone has a hardness of 5 or higher, they're going to be, let's see, they are the ones that have been through a rotary or vibratory tumbler. And that tumbling process can take almost a month, depending on what kind of stone it is. It's not a quick process. And so to achieve the perfectly formed or polished crystals, they start with like a coarse grind silicon carbide that takes about 7 days to knock the rough edges off, and then a medium grind is used for another week, and then a pre-polish uses a fine grit for another week, and then the fourth step is polishing with like an aluminum oxide powder, and then after 4 weeks you get just these lovely polished stones. And so rainbow moonstone, labradorite, tiger's eye, those are really fantastic when they are polished, because the textures and the internal characteristics of the stones really pop out and are fantastic. And each of the crystals, when polished, do still hold the same energy as the rough stone. And often it's the shape then suddenly that has altered the energetic qualities or energetic properties, because different shapes themselves have energetic properties. Think the pyramids of Giza, for instance. Pyramids have a definite energetic signature and energetic draw to them that a sphere or rough stone might not. And you know, the healing benefits, the magical benefits of any of the stones really doesn't alter with the size of the rock or crystal. It could be garnet sand, or it could be a giant selenite wand, or Don's BS stick, or whatever he calls it. That energy is still there. Often the smaller raw stones are more affordable and more easily accessible than a lot of the polished stones and such. Justin? Okay, hold on. Time out, Justin. Paisley has a question. You have a stone tumbler and you have stones and such and all of that. Dude, we need to have a conversation. Because I remember you saying something about teeth and bones at one point, or claws also. I need to send you an email. Yes. Nightshade says, when dealing with a rough stone, when there is no clarity of color, one can spray water on the surface to emulate a polished face to view the color. It's not foolproof either. Correct. And some stones really do not interact well with water. For instance, selenite is a very, very soft stone, and when it encounters water, it'll melt, just like salt. Tourmaline can have some similar issues. So you just got to be aware of the different structural properties of the stones that you're working with to make sure that you are using the right tools at the right time. Let's see. Where was I? I have quite a few stones that I keep on me at any given time. And I'll go through those after the break. And then and some other stuff I'll touch on after the break. We're going to talk about shapes also, and some various stones that you should carry. I personally think everybody should carry a wee bit of tourmaline, black tourmaline, just because it is a very protective stone in energetic situations. Actually, just in general, protect you from the negative energy that seems to be floating around all over the place these days. So, let me just double check. since I got to talking. Okay, so the phone lines are open, so if you want to call in and ask a question, please do so. That number again is 213-233-3998. Trying to think, what else should I say just before break? I should probably have this written down somewhere so I don't forget about it. I did have something, but it just doesn't really fit anymore. Anyways, we'll be right back.
Lord, within the sun, as we will, so mote it be, the spell forever done.
Hello, my lovelies. This is Paisley Wild, and we are off adventuring into the spaces between. Because we can, and why not? If we're going to have an adventure while we're sitting in the comfort of our own home, or in your car, or whatever, however you choose to listen, we might as well just kind of do what we need to do. So yeah. Tonight we're talking about gemstones and crystals. Some of the, should it be rough? Should it be smooth and polished? What should you use? Well, in reality, there is no energetic difference between the raw versus the polished. It's more what meets your needs the best, honestly, because that energetic signature is going to be there regardless of the size of the stone or how polished or rough it is. And for some, that's kind of hard to believe, but it is real. Would you stop? Thank you. Now, stones in general, regardless of being polished or rough, have been used for thousands and thousands of years, honestly. Ancient civilizations such as Egyptians, Aztecs, etc., used healing stones in jewelry, cosmetics, statuettes, statues, amulets, etc. It was medicinal, protective, that kind of thing. And even today, when Western medicine, for instance, is kind of in charge of everything, there's a definite trend back to using more stones and crystals as part of the holistic healing process, because those energetic signatures haven't changed. They're still there and they're still valid. And maybe it's not as scientifically proven as a shot, I suppose, or getting sewn up or going to therapy, but there's something to be said about carrying around those stones. Everything in the world, it doesn't matter what it is, from the tiniest particle of dirt to a drop of water, has some sort of energetic vibration to it. Part of the reason why the North Pole and the South Pole work so well and gravity happens is because everything has some sort of energetic vibration. And some things are more naturally conductive for that energetic vibration, and some things are we are just more naturally receptive to. And so if we can align our vibrations to those of the gemstones or crystals, etc., it gives a healing effect or a therapeutic effect when it's either visually accessible or placed directly on your body. The energy surges from the crystals themselves to you, which helps with the flowing of the energy throughout your body. And yes, Marie, you can wear obsidian on your person. I would just make sure, it depends what kind of setting you're going to use. Chris Jarvis asks a question. He says, what does it mean when you have a piece of clear quartz and it turns dark and basically starts turning to dust? Chris, you can't hear Don because he's having a salad, but are you sure it was quartz and not something else? Because quartz doesn't normally turn dark and crumble. Quartz is really, really hard. It's a hard stone. So I would check your source and make sure that you have you really got quartz. I would take that actually to perhaps a gemologist, but a geologist, somebody who can actually test the dust and see what it is, because I gotta tell you, I don't know that was quartz, dear. And Marie, if you have the original piece of obsidian in a rough state, I would want to make sure before you wore it on yourself that it doesn't have any sharp edges, because obsidian can cut you. And you want to make sure that you don't get hurt wearing your stones. Yes, energy should be transferred, but you don't want it to do through the transmission of blood. And so you don't want your stones to be slicing and dicing you guys. Which where? Okay. I can only do so many things at once. Let's see, there's that. Oh. Don sent me a link.
Scroll down to number 28.
Oh, man. 28. It's not numbered on here. Oh, there it is. Wait. Hold on. 28, 28, 28, 28, 28. Oh, why is my quartz crystal turning black? Oh, very bizarre. So, according to Shop at Perry's blog, as a rule of thumb, remember when your crystal is overworked, it can turn black. Interesting. It can happen with many mined crystals specifically. Sometimes the crystal doesn't turn totally black, it just spots and has patches of black. Clear quartz is a crown chakra crystal that purifies the energy. En route, it can be a sign that unwelcome energies are around. Try to include other crystals if that is the case. You may need to check to see if you have been significantly punched by a curse. Clear quartz can take on some cloudiness, which is, again, an overdose of negative energies. You may want to cleanse your stones. So, yeah. So, I would get them cleansed. If you have stones that are changing colors, cleanse them. So some, depending on which stone you have. You can really just do a cleanse using tap water out of your faucet. Just make sure you have, if you have well water, preferably, rather than city water, because running water is very cleansing. If you don't have well water, just get some spring water from a source that, I don't know, you're going to have to find it. Hey, Ruthie. And just pour the water over the stone, and you'll set your intention. Hey, I'm cleansing this thing, and just the water. You don't have to use soap, just water. You can also use moonlight. You can use sunlight, depending on the stone. Some fade in direct sun, so be cautious. I'm trying to pull up this website that Dawn sent me because I kind of want it to be in bigger print, because I am not as... I will just leave it as I'm glad I have glasses and leave it at that. So they have this Perry's site has a really cool thing, how to cleanse your crystals. 10 easy ways. We'll go over that later in the show. We'll come back to it, I promise. I got sidetracked because let's see. When it comes to using gemstones and crystals and stones, and using them as tools to connect our conscious thoughts with our body, which is really a big deal, especially if you can use some direction and some willpower there. Especially with healing stones specifically, it's a real game changer, because you can pre-program some stones with a specific intention for transformation. And our thoughts are really, really powerful because they direct energy, and the energy flows through thought. So if you're using gemstones, their frequencies can help magnify those thoughts and intentions. In the mineral kingdom, there are many different crystal meetings that support a range of intentions, from wealth and abundance to balance and vitality, rest and relaxation, and more. There are all sorts of different things you can find online to find out, hey, which crystals do you need? Honestly, my best suggestion is go to the rock or crystal shop closest to you, and what calls to you? because it's not all stones are going to call to you. Not all of them are correct. You're not going to have sorry, blah. Goofy kids. Hey, Don's in the house. Say hi, Don.
Hi, Dawn.
Hey, where's your sword?
My bullshit cutter.
Yeah. So Don has a little piece of selenite here. He's showing you on YouTube. How long is that? Don't look at me in that
question, right?
tone of voice.
I don't know. That's pretty freaking long.
I don't have a tape measure on me.
16 to 18 inches.
Yeah, something
and it's
like
all
that.
selenite.
Yep, solid selenite.
Wrapped with blue leather.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I suppose you could. Could you cut the cheese with that?
That would not be Gouda. And no, I'm not a tyromancer.
You guys are so weird.
Had to watch The Portal.
Apparently I did.
It's all about witches and cheese.
Oh, cheese witches?
Uh-huh.
Okay. You guys are weird. Cheese.
Yeah, followers of cheeses.
Oh, cheese and crackers. All right.
That was hilarious.
It is sometimes extraordinarily beneficial to cut stones into particular shapes, and sizes, just because sometimes those shapes channel the energies differently. They can make them more useful in energy work than they would have been in raw form. Kimber, you're not a lapdog, sweetie. Do you want to say hi?
Come here. You need some attention. Come here.
I've never seen a 40-pound boxer be so insistent that she's a 2-pound poodle and has to sit in your lap. So generally, when we think of stones that have been cut and polished, spheres are very, very popular. Just because, well, they're spheres and they're pretty and they're polished and they're cool.
Are you better now?
I don't know how else to put it. They're just cool. And they are often polished up and ready to go, and spheres are one of those stones or shapes that fit into your home life very, very easily, especially even if you're in the pagan pantry, the witch, the broom closet, just because the gazing spheres that are in the gardens and everything were so popular here in the last several decades. And spheres are very good for healing, for scrying, and other types of energy work. And spheres are extraordinarily stable shapes. The planets, moon, sun, etc. in our universe are, generally speaking, sphere-shaped or spheric in nature. So the sphere itself symbolizes astronomical bodies, but also the unification of mind, spirit, and body. So the crystal ball, of course, is the one that everybody assumes is, the best one, and it's been used for scrying for pretty much forever. You don't have to use just the spheres, of course, in scrying. You can use pyramids, plates. You use candles. I mean, you can use almost anything for scrying. I have noticed in doing some meditation work that sometimes spheres are really good for holding, or for just helping to focus that intention. So I guess I have a caller. So because I need a ding ding that says I have a caller. So hello, North Carolina, you're on the air.
Hello, Paisley. Merry meet to you all.
Hi, yes.
This is Nightshade.
Hi, how you doing?
I'm here, warming up,
Yes, I understand.
especially for here on the East Coast.
Yeah, you guys aren't used to the really cold weather, are you?
I live up in Jersey at one point, so I got pretty much acquainted with cold weather. So this is sort of like a roller coaster ride in North Carolina.
I have family in North Carolina, and my sister sent pictures of the school was closed, and the kids were playing in t-shirts and shorts in the snow out in the front yard. Which I thought
Yes, that was about right.
it's like there's grass growing through that snow. Why is school closed? But so what can I help you with, my dear?
Well, there were several things that was mentioned about mineral-wise. It's fascinating because I had been dealing with stones and minerals since I was a kid, as it were. And so there's a whole plethora of things. And so regardless of whether you're into the magical aspect or the spiritual aspect or just an everyday person that's just like, oh, what a pretty rock, whatever have you, and think nothing of it, or nothing more than just maybe a gift or something.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I think it's largely up to the person as to what they are drawn to, for that matter, as far as minerals and stones and gems are concerned. So, I think I could be wrong, but I think almost people have to go by their intuition,
Yes.
as far as that goes. Reason being is that, one, your stones and minerals, coloration-wise, which is the vibration, relates to the colors of your chakras of the body.
Yes.
At least that's what I discovered.
Mm-hmm.
So it can be curious.
Yes.
Even when I go to a gem and mineral show, whenever I have a chance to, it's like, maybe because I am very sensitive to the vibes of the stones and minerals and all that, it's like, woohoo, let's have a party, type scenario. And find I have to really kind of sort of low-key things and earth myself a little bit. But going out in the field and when you're looking for your stones and minerals, it's like you're automatically getting earth as is when you're actually out in the field and you're digging up quartz or some other mineral, for that matter. So you're getting a round cycle of the whole effect between the elation of finding a stone or mineral or gem, and when you get overexcited about it, you're actually right there in the soil, so you're actually completing a circuit and earthing it. And also doing your appreciation to Mother Nature as well. So,
Yes.
I should get a good swift kick.
What's that?
Otherwise, she'll give you a good swift kick.
Yes. Yeah. And, the things that are calling to you, that's a real thing. I started carrying the serpentine in my pocket, for instance, about 6 months ago. At work, we've got a box full of tumbled stones that we add to every so often. And
box.
It is. It's a big box. It's
That's
like 3 foot by 3 foot.
It's a tabletop.
Okay, it's huge. I get it. But when the boss adds a new bunch of stones, generally it's just they all blend in, and it's like, oh, look at all the pretty stones. And I try to avoid the box because otherwise the temptation is great. But that particular it is that particular batch though had a lot of serpentine in it, and holy cow! Regardless of the reds and the blues and all of the different colors, all I could see was the serpentine in that box. It just stood out. And I was like, oh, okay, well, I guess I have to have some of that. What is that? Because I didn't know it was serpentine at the time. It's like, I need some of this. What is this? So I'm going to buy this one and this one and this one and this one. And And maybe that blue one too. So, but yeah,
True.
The things that you need really do stand out.
Oh, definitely. It's almost like as if they're screaming, saying, "Hey, you! Look at me!"
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
As a result.
Exactly. In the rock shop that we have quite a few people who come in and they'll use pendulums, for instance. Is this a stone I need to buy? Nope. Okay, then I don't need it. How about that one? Is there anything in the shop that I do need? Okay, yep, I need to go over here and I need to do that. And oh, hey, look! And suddenly they've spent like $500 on, and it all fits into one little bitty bag, smaller than a 12-pack of soda. And it's just, but it's what is it that calls to you? Intuitively.
True.
We know what we need. We have to remember to stop and listen to our intuition.
Very much so. It's interesting you mention that because I've also, as far as the pendulum goes, because I've actually seen where people actually pass a hand over stones and minerals, either very determinedly or very passively because they don't want to draw too much attention.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to admit it's very admirable how people handle that. And they're looking and searching and all that kind of good stuff. So it can vary. So it's a very personable thing as far as choosing goes. And so there's so many variables, it's ridiculous.
Yes.
It's almost unbelievable.
Yeah.
So I guess it just depends on also what vibe was going on that day and that's affecting that person.
Very much so.
Or it's the aspect of they are looking for a stone that may be affecting them later on that they don't realize it until then.
Yes. I spoke to someone today. He was looking for moldavite specifically. He wanted to know if we had any loose stones in moldavite. And moldavite's getting a little harder to find. And it's a very transformative, high energy type of stone. Makes my bones ache. And we didn't have anything available we had finished product instead of raw product, and I said, hey, we can write you down on a list and let you know when it's available. He was like, nope, if it was meant to be, it'd be here. Next time I'm in the area, I'll check, and if you have it and it's meant to be, then that's when I'll get it. And it was just, he was making his route that he does to check out the little rock shops in our region to see if there was any particular stone that jumped out and said, hey, take me home.
That's true. It's interesting how that happens, but that's very true. Along with moldavite, your other tektites as well, depending on the circumstances. And one that I had just recently started working with for some time, and I've been grateful about it, is, and I'm probably going to butcher the name on this thing, but it's called either shunga or shungite or something or other.
Shungite.
It's a black stone. Depending on what version or quality of the stone, it is either very shiny and very crumbly in the purer form, or you get the form that you can actually cut it and carve it in shapes or whatever, and so forth. So it gets interesting.
Yeah, well, shungite is one of those that you should have also, especially if you have electronic equipment, because it does stop a lot of the radiation that you have with your phones, the 3G, 4G, that kind of stuff. And yeah, even when polished, it'll often, if you're touching it, a black dust will come off on your fingers. It's very, very easy to carve, like one of those laser engravers that you get for wood products. You can use it with the shungite as well.
Oh, yeah.
But it's another one of those very cleansing and protective type stones. But it is a very soft stone, so yeah, it goes to powder pretty darn easy.
Yeah, that's for certain. One thing is also noted that whenever you're dealing with that stone, There are imitations, but there's two different notations about that stone that one can recognize. Generally, I find that one, it's not magnetic, and two, you happen to have a light fixture like a flashlight, where you can open the end of it and expose the battery inside and so forth, and press the stone against that, and the casing of the light, it actually creates a
sorry, it's time
and the
for
light
break.
will come on.
We're going to break.
Just a minute, my dear.
Hold on.
Nightshade, I'm going to put you on hold. We're off to break, and we'll pick this up when we come back. Are you okay with that?
Whoops.
We'll be
Sounds good.
All right, we'll be right back. Hello, my lovelies. So I'm going to go back and we're going to pick it back up with Nightshade, and when we're done, then I'll do the singing bowl. So, hey, Nightshade, thank you for holding. You still there?
Hey, Paisley, it's me. I'm still here. It's Nightshade.
Awesome, thank you.
Oh, gosh. I think that as far as minerals are concerned, I'm not sure exactly how much I covered of the scientific aspects of shungite or whatever you want to call it.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's fascinating how minerals function, especially on a molecular level, and how people relate to that, if at all. So, what is your sentiment about it?
What's that? What was that last part?
What is your sentiment about how people relate to the molecular structure of minerals and stones?
So I think we're called to specific stones because perhaps on that cellular level, that's what we need. For instance, the serpentine that stood out. There's probably several thousand stones in that box, but all I could see was the serpentine. And there's a whole rainbow of colors, and that's what stood out. And I think we all have different stones that we work with, especially that when we're doing that we prefer to work with, and even different specific shapes. For instance, Nightshade, there's a little bit of an echo, so if the radio's on in the background, could you turn it down just a skosh?
It may have been my glove that I had brushed up against the phone. I apologize.
No, it's actually the volume of your YouTube that you're watching.
She's on TFR.
Or, well, TFR.
Okay.
Just turn down the volume on your
computer.
computer.
I'm not even...
Okay. Well, it could be me.
That's actually the listening online is actually at the other end of the house, so.
Oh, how bizarre.
I'm not quite sure.
Okay. Well, it could just.
Let me check.
It could be the technology in the house. It's not like we've never had a problem before. But yeah, some different shapes, different stones work for different things. If I'm doing like healing work or energy work, I have a carnelian. If you're in YouTube world, you can see it. It's a carnelian stone. Where's my camera? There it is. I was trying to point at Dawn's. The light is not very good behind it, but if it's lit up right, it looks like veins of a heart or a muscle.
You got to hold it in front of your mic.
It's interesting you missed.
Yeah, it's just not showing.
What do you say?
He's talking to me. And it's just something for energy work or healing that the carnelian is one that I go to instinctively. Same with my selenite wand, which looks like a good stogie.
Right.
And then those are the two that I use generally specifically for energy work, because that's what I'm called to use. Sometimes I'll use other stones, or I need to use the singing bowl depending on what it is. If I'm doing a cleansing on someone, I'm often going straight to the selenite wand to start with, because selenite's such a good cleansing tool anyways. And I think if you do energy work or if you're doing spell work or something like that, you're going to be called to use specific stones for that purpose, and I think that's just the way of it.
Yeah, it's just when the vibration or the connection with the stone, I suppose, is when it's vibrating at the frequency you need to be at, or you're in the same frequency as it is when you resonate with it. So everything has space in between it. So I mean, all the molecules and all the atoms and everything that make up that particular stone is vibrating at that frequency. And if you need, well, like here it says this about shungite, it says to receive wisdom. It says to connect with ancient wisdom of shungite. This person says you should place some dried lemon verbena leaves and your shungite in a pouch and tuck it into your pillowcase. So that it's very grounding because it's so heavy, it's so dense. It's mostly carbon, so it's very earthy. So I mean, I would imagine that in that case it calls to somebody to be regrounded or something to that effect.
Yeah, find your center, find your
right.
Exactly, yeah.
And that's just part of what
That was well.
What's that?
That was well stated.
Thank you.
Sometimes Don does have the words. Yeah, and the when we're looking at the different stones, it's good to do your research, write down the stones that you have, the energetic properties of them.
Do some study on it.
It's a really the information that you learn about the crystals and stones that you have or that you're called to often is almost stronger and more informative than actually holding the stone itself. Because sometimes if you're doing the research and you say, oh, well, Shungite will help me do this and this and this, and I really feel like I have to have it, and oh my goodness, and you're like, but why do I have to have it? Oh, that's why I need to do this. I'm not grounded enough.
Well, Shungite also connects us with it supposedly, allegedly, connects us with our past lives or karmic wisdoms. So it's supposed to be good for connecting with yourself, or the cosmic, the mind, if you will, I suppose. So I mean, if you're drawn to Shungite, you should probably do some soul searching with it.
Well, Shungite is also really good for EMF protection, detoxification of the body. So if you're, maybe you need to do some healing. Maybe you need to do some cleansing.
Maybe you need to sleep at night.
That's a possibility too. But yeah, Shungite is a very healing stone. So if that's what you're called to, then you know what, it's maybe it's time to set down the baggage, do the therapy, the shadow work, and heal maybe from the emotional trauma, mental trauma, family trauma, whatever it is that.
That's what actually the serpentine is good for.
So yeah, it's there's so much information out there on stones. There's the Crystal Bible. There's a couple different versions that we use at work all the time. And just it's good to have books with good graphic pictures with the different stones in them, so that if you are out in the field and you've got your little field manual, it's like, oh, what is this thing? I don't know what it is, but it's awesome and I have to have it. And oh, it's sodalite. I found sodalite in the wild. Yeah. Or opal. Idaho has opal. Opal's a big deal. It's kind of a big deal. And you can find it out in the wild here in Idaho. And so if you can really truly find it, it's got some very strong energetic properties, fire properties. Obsidian, you can find that in the wild. It's good for self-reflection, protection, that kind of thing. And it helps to get rid of the stress and negative thought patterns and behavior patterns. So if you're finding it in the wild, it helps to have a book so you can help identify what it is.
True. There was also another thing you kind of touched upon that reminded me of whenever you're doing stone scrying, as it were, is taking a light fixture and shining it through the stone mineral, where you actually see the inside of the coloration of the mineral, gives a whole different meaning to, I guess you could say, mineral gazing or stone gazing.
Yeah, so you can buy, for instance, heat-treated quartz. They call it crackle quartz because it once it heats to a certain temperature, it fractures. And when light strikes those particular fractures, and it's not all the way through, it's just within the stone. And
they become inclusions.
Yeah, they become inclusions. And when light hits them, it refracts a certain way. There's rainbows and there's images, and it's like cloud gazing almost. You can see things in there. And and you can focus, and it just how you turn the crystal, you see the different images or the different rainbows, and it's a different way to tune into your own frequencies, or your spirit guides, to get whatever messages that you're trying to receive.
Very true indeed. Well, I'm going to let you folks go. I've had a blast, and oh, goodness, much to absorb, and yet so much more to absorb, so, or take in.
Yeah, that's one thing I love about doing this is I feel like I never really run out of material to talk about because there's so much. And even if I look at my shows that I did 2 years ago, it's like, oh, wait, I can cover that again. There's new information. Woohoo! So, thank you for calling in, my dear. I appreciate it.
Indeed. Thanks so much for having me and putting up with me, and I wish not only this recent full moon, but I wish you all a wonderful and blessed Imbolc is coming up soon as well. So I bid you all much peace and love.
Thank you, Nightshade, and right back at you, babe.
Good night.
Here.
So yeah, it's amazing. Even when we look at polished stones, you're like, oh, it's a polished stone. That's really awesome. Sometimes just having a little bit of light shone through it really draws you to the light, and you see all new images.
Justin actually asked a quick question here. He says, do you think the way the stone is created or formed has something to do with its spiritual or healing properties?
I think there's some to that, yes. Also, where it was made. For instance, I think
it was in the ground.
Oh dear. Obsidian that is found in the different volcanic regions throughout the world have slightly different energetic properties to them, just because the other elements in those regions are going to be a little bit different. Some stones, they only form at the exact same things or temperatures and pressures regardless of where they're at. I think sometimes the man-made stones, for instance, Helenite is one of them. Helenite is it's a man-made stone using ashes from Mount St. Helens, and during the process they add in other elements like copper or iron to create other, like a blue or a green, and then there's a red. And so the basic stone itself has some energetic properties because it's Helenite. It's the ashes from the Helenite. But then those are impacted a little bit more by adding the other elements to it to create the different colors. So it's a layered effect, if you will, or a multifaceted effect. And you do have to do your research, and this is again why having that your journaling in your book, your field guide, if you will, and kind of figure out what is the meaning of the stone that you have. I think sometimes the way the stones are harvested do impact some of the energetic behaviors of them. Blood diamonds. For instance, because that's what comes to mind right off the bat, there's some negative energy attached to those. No. And that is very, very, very real. That's why sourcing your diamonds you have to be very cautious of. And honestly, if for those of you who are wanting to buy a ring for your significant other, my advice is find one with real meaning, intrinsic value, not just financial value. Diamonds are lovely, but they're not the be-all, end-all. Sometimes you need to find a different stone. I love blue tourmaline. Opal. Love opal. Moonstone. Love that too. So, what calls to you and whom you're purchasing it for. All right, so Titan asked the question. We need to have a special intro just for Titan. Mm-hmm. So Titan says, are there stones that absorb curses or negative energy? And if so, probably wouldn't want to touch it. So how would one dispose of it, or can it be cleansed? So as we were talking about with the quartz earlier, turning dark, you can cleanse those. After the break, I will give you guys 10 easy ways to cleanse things. And yes, you can touch it, and you just set your intention prior to touching it, and then wash your hands afterwards. Just say I'm cleansing my hands of this negative energy. Wash your hands. It's amazing what you can get rid of just by washing your hands. Germs, dirt, blood, negativity, etc. So yeah, we'll talk about cleansing in a bit. Justin says serpentine forms in the ocean. Since you love it the way you do, would that mean anything to you? Ocean connection. Generally speaking, I don't know. So here's the thing. I am an inlander, meaning
No way.
I have never really spent that much time near the ocean.
Flatlanders around me.
I said inlander. I'm in the mountains. It's not flatlands.
Oh, sorry. Flyover state.
Yeah, I'm a flyover state. I have driven by the ocean once in California, and I wanted to stop and go look at the water and get closer to it. But oh my goodness gracious me, the number of people between me and the actual water, the amount of suntan lotion per square inch was not worth it.
Well, as far as curses and things like that, it was a Cookie that mentioned his quartz turning dark, and I think Lucky said she had one that was turning dark too. If that's absorption of a curse, I would imagine, and this is just me, I'd get rid of it. I'd be like, time for you to go. You've done your job. Thank you. Out to the ocean you go. Have fun.
So you can bury that kind of thing in the earth, in the dirt, and dirt is cleansing, straight up. I would not necessarily want to bury it in the ground near your front door. I would maybe think about, where that negative energy may have come from, and where you might want to put it out.
Or someone you might want to stab with the push.
You're right. So, for something like that, if it's something that's really, really absorbed a lot of negative energy, Chris just tossed it in a lake. So yeah, that works. Water is very cleansing. Honestly, crossroads are real places. You can bury things at a crossroad because it'll take the energy away from the crossroad, or it'll target someone who is deserving of that energy at that particular crossing.
The devil. Meet the devil at the crossroads. Here's a stone, Mr. Devil. Take this with you. It's a gift from me to you.
I don't necessarily have an ocean connection. I love the ocean. I am pretty sure that I'm not allowed near the ocean because I don't know that I would ever leave. And I really like my mountains.
I have no idea why I left the ocean. I don't know.
Because there's a really awesome lake here that pretends to be an ocean?
Yeah, it's just not the same.
I know, it's close.
It doesn't have as much salt in it, so I'm not as buoyant. I sink like a rock in fresh water because I'm a fat guy. I need the salt for the buoyancy.
Fat floats.
Ooh, send it to DC, yes.
Is that what that mystery substance was? So, yeah. The different stones that call to you, those are real, and pay attention to them. So with the shapes, I was just getting into that just a little bit. They're often called platonic solids. And platonic solids, just real basic definition. There's 5.
Friend-zoned.
Friend-zoned, yes. There are 5 solids. They're called platonic solids. The tetrahedron, the cube, the octahedron, the dodecahedron, and the icosahedron. And then also the sphere. The sphere is the very stable shape, and then the platonic solids. And also, they don't have the pyramid in here, but pyramids are also fantastic. But with the spheres...
there's nothing to sphere.
Yeah, there's only sphere itself. Let's see, where it's often very, very radiating when it comes to the energy within it. So, for instance, the crystal ball behind me, over here, light shines into it, is reflected or comes out the other side, and and it's upside down, so it reverses that energy, or inverses it, I should say, and just helps channel the energy better in a sphere, and helps you kind of focus. So yeah, crystal balls can help to enable one to see the circumstances from a different perspective. They're also good at purifying and healing leaks in your auric field, and hand comforters.
Auric field, not orc field.
I said auric. Orcs. Oh, my stars. But in crystal gazing, oculomancy, that kind of thing, scrying your third eye chakra with your spheres. Platonic solids. The cube is associated with earth. I'm going to kind of blow through these really quick because we only have 5 minutes before break. Is good for grounding energies. So if you have a cube-shaped, say, shungite, for instance, it'll help channel that the healing energy into you and help ground you. It's also good for peace and stability. Air is the octahedron. It's good for goals, communication, travel. Fire is the tetrahedron, for vitality, strength, courage, willpower. So if you're having some problems with some willpower, maybe you need a tetrahedron. The icosahedron, which is associated with water and peace, de-stressing, restful sleep. You should hang on to it, not let it land on your head. It's not that kind of peace and sleep. But psychic enhancement as well. The Akashic or ether spirit is the dodecahedron, good for past life issues, magic, longevity, spiritual pursuits. And the different stones have different impacts. So with the dodecahedron, amber is good, fossils, jet, petrified wood, mostly because if you're doing past life type of work, you do kind of want some of those older type minerals like fossils and the petrified wood, because it'll channel that energy. Garnet, the natural octahedron, very good for intellectual pursuits. Let's see. So just really blew through that one quick in 2 minutes. It's funny. I woke up this morning. It's like, what am I going to talk about today? See, what was the other one? Where is my thing? Eggs actually are a shape. They're similar to spheres, but often they do fit into your decor and help. While you have them, they can help with your energy work and stuff, because it looks good, and people just kind of let it go, even though the eggs are often associated with fertility, birth. Think Easter eggs. But they are good for meditation also. Heart shapes. I gotta say, there is a lot of heart-shaped stones out there. It bothers me because I'm not a heart-shaped person. I'm round, not heart-shaped. But heart-shaped crystals generally are associated with love, romance, that kind of thing. If you're wanting to do healing work with the heart chakra, for instance, rose quartz or pink amethyst in a heart shape is really good. Some people like the skull-shaped stones. That's okay. They're not creepy, really.
Apparently, Cookie has a jade that's shaped like a Aztec death whistle.
Okay, that's just cool.
Yes, I want to see that.
Right? So if you need help moving forward in your life, actually a crystal skull is really good for you. It helps push you forward. Let's see. Star-shaped stones help bring down, say, celestial energies. So they bring the universal energy to you. Pyramids are good for long-term energy work, because it'll preserve the energy you put into it. But the design itself allows that energy to be amplified and used. And a lot of stones do occur naturally in certain shapes. Like basalt, for instance, is 6 sides. I don't remember what the word is for 6.
Sorry, what?
What's the word for 6? It's the
Starts with an S.
I know, right? But yeah, it's the 6-sided pillar kind of a thing. But it grows that way. It formed that way. Herkimer diamonds are a type of crystal that's the same strength as a diamond, but it's got double points on each side, regardless of the size, and it's good for channeling the energy through it. So, off to break. We'll be right back.
Lord, within the sun, as we will, so mote it be the spell forever. Sisters of the shining moon, heaven, earth, and sea, I call upon you in this hour, bring magic unto me. Brothers, oh, the cauldron cries, it singeth unto me. The songs of Mother Goddess and the Father in the tree.
Hello, my lovelies. This is Paisley Weil, and we are off adventuring into the spaces between. So, we didn't do the singing bowl earlier, so let's do it now. Because, yeah. So yeah, we all need a little more singing bowl in our world, I think. Somebody mentioned thunder eggs just before the break. So thunder eggs are kind of a rounder nodule-like shape formation that is filled in with an agate, jasper, opal, quartz, something like that, similar to just your typical geode is just full of the pretty stuff. So yeah, it's all good. Let's see. I wanted to finish off with cleansing. I've talked about cleansing before, but I think we should hit it again. This is specifically for your crystals, your healing crystals, your crystals. So, regardless of if you wear them, you use them, you keep them in your kid's toy box, I don't know. Whatever. So first way, honestly, crystal singing bowls. You can, crystal singing bowls are really awesome. But you put your crystal inside your singing bowl and you play your bowl. So as I just played my singing bowl, I could have put my carnelian in the middle of it and it would have cleansed it. So as the sound vibrations from the singing bowl kind of go out, they merge with the energy of the crystal, and the music that fills the room purifies the space in addition to the stone. Brown rice, actually, is a way to cleanse
Brown
stone.
rice.
Brown rice. Mm-hmm. Dry, uncooked brown rice can cleanse some stones. You want to leave the crystal for at least 4 hours or overnight. Note to self, do not eat the rice afterwards, because if it's soaking up all the negative stuff, the last thing you want to do is eat it. So,
And some stones have asbestos in it.
Yeah.
And arsenic.
Or, yeah, there's some stones have stuff in them you just don't want to ingest. So, yeah, throw it away.
Well, yeah, I guess you could save it for your phone. You know, you actually dump your phone in the toilet, you throw it in the bag of rice.
So, hey, your soggy phone, you dump it in a bag of negatively charged rice.
Probably don't.
I don't
Won't
know.
hurt it.
If it's a Nokia flip phone, you'll be fine. Sunlight is excellent for cleansing. About 4 hours generally. Make sure you put them where kids, pets, other animals won't find them. So regardless of whether you're doing moonlight or sunlight, if you have critters or pets or kids that you don't want to get into your stones, I know cats are pretty notorious for creating chaos. Put them inside a mason jar and put the lid on and lay it on its side so the light can get to it. Because, yeah. Because cats are obnoxious sometimes. Clear nights under the full moon. Leave your crystals on a windowsill until morning or outside, either way. Crystals that are prone to fading in direct sunlight benefit from the moonlight better. And moonlight is very, very cleansing. Sometimes you just need to cleanse yourself, so go sit in the moonlight. Salt water is a great cleanser. And if you've ever spent time near the ocean, know that salt water can be a great cleanser. Sometimes running water or just soaking in a mild saltwater solution is good for a deeper cleanse. If you do use salt water, you want to make sure whatever you're doing or cleansing is not submerged for more than 7 hours at a time, and that they are not sensitive to salt water.
Sorry, I have to say this. Jarvis says, are there any crystals for love or helping it? Usually diamonds.
Okay, that was a fabulous marketing ploy. Rose quartz is a good stone for love. Most people assume, hey, if you're handing out rose quartz, it's because you love someone. Also, love of self. Because if you can't love yourself, it's harder for you to... that's not a crystal, Titan.
It has a crystalline structure.
It's not a stone. Children. It depends. What are you trying to do, Chris? Are you trying to convince someone to love you, or are you just trying...
No, in that case, you need what Titan said.
Not necessarily.
I think he's just looking for attraction.
So, attraction. Magnetite is
romantic attraction.
So, I would say magnetite and rose quartz both, because magnetite is very good at, drawing things to you. And rose quartz...
Make sure you have pure intention.
Yeah, pure intentions. Black obsidian concentrate. So, if you have a black obsidian concentrate, is basically black obsidian in a spray bottle, fill it with water, leave it in a sunny spot for about 4 hours to charge to the solution, the water with the stone, and the water is then charged with the obsidian energy and the sunlight, and you can spritz it on things. So
we went from talking about romance to spritzing shit.
Yeah,
this is mine.
Well, I wasn't thinking this is mine. It's like, okay, Sharon, shush. Your Sharon spray. But yeah, the spray bottle with obsidian and water can be cleansing. So, children. Reiki actually is very cleaning. So to cleanse your crystals with Reiki, just hold them between both palms and imagine that the stone is being filled with pure light. Reiki cleansing crystals are specifically like palm crystals, can activate the 7 chakras, and they'll help you cleanse and then also program your stones. Incense is another well-known way to cleanse your crystals and also get the therapeutic effects of aromatherapy at the same time. Incense or white sage will cleanse your crystals of negative energy while also filling the room with a good scent. Allow the smoke to completely envelop the crystal for best results. Geodes. So a crystal druzy or amethyst geode cave is a very good and effective way to cleanse a crystal. Leave your healing crystals inside the geode for 1 to 2 days to help reset its powers and cleanse it of negative energy. We often see or have slices of amethyst that are hollow, and honestly, they look like portals. Like your energetic portals, you're going through them. And the energy from them is often quite fantastic. But yeah, if you've got like a partial amethyst geode that's cut, you can set your stones or your crystals inside of the geode, and it takes a little bit longer to cleanse it that way. The kids in the chat room, they're all grounded, I'm telling you. Physical contact. So according to folklore from some of the Native American tribes of the U.S., cleansing a crystal for everyday use required not much more than rubbing them between your palms after using them ceremonially. Naysay's not on, so I can't ask him directly.
Well, that would be like, realigning, realigning them, like with a magnet. You can magnetize metal with a magnet by realigning the atoms in the magnet, or the you know what I mean. Anyhow, that's
No, you're rearranging the ions or the cellular structure to polarity. Yeah. So yeah, this is really quick. I got through that really quick. I was surprised. I'm just keep looking at the chat like, oh my gosh, you guys. And I'll have a link to this particular article for cleansing in the chat room. It's the different ways to cleanse stones, and your witch tools, or whatever it may be that you're trying to cleanse. There's several different ways, and if smoke is not your big thing, then don't use the incense. If you don't have some place to put stuff in the moonlight or the sunlight, well, then maybe you need to look at rinsing them in the water, or rubbing them between your palms, or maybe you do need the sage. So just whatever it is, there's enough different ways to cleanse your stones. There's no reason to let them get so full of that negative energy that they turn dark.
You don't want to overwork them, like like was mentioned earlier. You want them to stay charged and ready to go. You never know when you'll need those little suckers.
Right, if nothing else, to throw them at the neighbors. A rock a day keeps the neighbor away.
Just depends on how hard you throw it.
Right. And it's really, when you're buying crystals or stones or any of that stuff, really, truly, it should be, look at it as an investment opportunity, because that's what it is. It's an investment. It's not just, oh, hey, I'm buying this thing because I think it's cool. One of the stones that I basically did that with, I got called to it and I had to buy it, was it's a purple opal pyramid. I'm not sure where it's at. It's around here somewhere.
Was that's this one? What the hell? Oh, hi, drama.
Is there a moving shadow over there? Yes. So, for those of you on YouTube,
shadows move here.
This is a purple opal pyramid that, walked into the store one day. It's like, oh, I kind of have to have that, like, right now. And I that's what I did. I bought it. Partly because, to me, it looks like the shade of purple and the white streaks through it just reminds me of a thunderstorm in the Midwest, where it's about to drop some hail on us, or possibly a tornado. So it's the energy of it is, I had to buy it, just like I had to get the selenite. No, it's purple opal. So purple opal. Practicing my one-handed typing. Let's see. It's also called a morado. Morado opal. It's from Mexico, and morado actually means purple. Let's see. It's not a very expensive opal, but I thought it was awesome because it appealed to me, because opal's my birthstone, and I needed to have it. Yeah, that's a little bitty crystal ball. So it's with the purple opal, it's good with, or for the third eye opening. And let's see, because it doesn't have the fire, it doesn't burn you. Whereas you open a screen, it's like, would you guys stop scrolling? I don't need all those ads. Would you just stop?
You're not using the Brave browser, are you?
Yes, I am. I just got the pop-up, hey, do you want to get the newsletter? No, I do not. Thank you. Let's see. Purple opal, meaning energy. So, third eye will pretty much get unlocked. Psychic abilities, I'm going to throw things at you.
That's one way to open your third eye.
Right? And basically it helps to increase one's mental capacity. I need to carry this around on a chain on my neck, basically.
No, you need that serpentine you were talking about earlier.
Yeah, I need that too. But it's good for your third eye and crown chakras. But mostly, it's a channel, if you will, for your spirit guides to channel information to you. So maybe I had to have it because I wasn't listening to my spirit guides very well. I have this show. I talk about stuff all the time and how you should do the things because of the stuff, and it's really good for you. And I am as guilty as the next person of falling off the wagon every so often and just like...
I don't fall off wagons.
You don't?
You're supposed to say, no, you fall off roofs.
Oh. You fell off roofs. So, funny thing, Don fell off the roof for his birthday. Landed on his left side.
Gift to myself,
Right. Lands on his left side. He's a little bruised, a little sore because, well, we don't bounce like we used to. But somehow, I did not fall off the roof. I didn't do anything. I'm the one with the torn rotator cuff on my left shoulder.
I think mine's been torn since the motorcycle accident.
It's not my fault you overindulged and Supermaned off a motorcycle.
I didn't overindulge. I hadn't indulged enough. As a matter of fact, I had to have somebody hold my beer while I did it.
Hold my beer. I'm going to go right around on the kid's motorcycle and Superman off of it, and then I'm going to bounce on the trampoline and eat s'mores. You had a good day. That was that day.
They didn't have a trampoline.
Yeah, they did. You jumped on the trampoline eating s'mores after that.
Did I?
Oh, yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, longbirds don't bounce.
They do on trampolines after s'mores. He had never had s'mores before.
God, that was like...
It's like 15 years ago.
Yeah. Gosh.
Isn't that crazy? Yeah. So, opal, really good stone to have. You don't have to have big pieces, by the way. And they don't have to be flashy, sparkly ones. But like I said earlier, folks, if you're buying jewelry for your significant other, buy something with meaning and value and importance, something unique that has special emotional meaning to it, not necessarily financial meaning to it. Yeah, hold my beer. Actually, we had a lot of hold my beer moments at that house. It was fun.
It was, yeah. We held a lot of beers at that house.
Yeah.
Oh my.
I still don't know why that deck is still standing.
I don't either. I don't know how that back wall's standing.
Right. So, slices. Sometimes gemstones and crystals do come in slices, by the way.
We've never mind. Sorry.
I was just going to say, mostly they're calming energetically and they're pretty. What were you going to say?
Well, Brent, and I saw this a couple days ago, but Brent saw this story about this geode that got cut open and it looked like Cookie Monster. It was kind of cool. But I was thinking as he was talking about that, somebody offered that guy, like, a few people offered that guy like $10,000 for that. And all I was thinking was, well, I wonder if you slice it into like, 5, 6, 7, 8 pieces. I mean, how much can you get for each piece? That's what I was thinking.
Okay. Alrighty. I saw the stone or the thing and it was like, all right, whatever. So, yeah, rose quartz there, Jarvis.
Justin. By the way, did you know in most states, if you get divorced and you gave them a ring, you can actually ask for the ring back legally?
Yeah, in the divorce paperwork, you settle in the estate.
But it's something that's given from you to them in good faith, and they no longer have good faith, and oops.
Yeah, well,
Hi, what do you want now? Gosh. Freaking dog.
Right?
Come here.
All right. So what's coming up next week? We've got Groundhog Day. We've got Candlemas on Groundhog's Day. We've got Bridget's Day. That is. What are you doing to the dog with her dog's ear?
I thought I felt an anomaly.
Okay.
No, it's just her head.
She's a knucklehead.
Hi.
Imlock, celebrate Bridget, light a candle for her. And it's just one of those things that, it's, find a way to celebrate the little things. Maybe that would be my challenge for February. Find a way to celebrate the little things. And sure, yeah, there's Valentine's Day coming up, and yes, it's a very romantic holiday. But for those of you who do not have a significant other, remember, there's nothing wrong with loving yourself. Sometimes we have to stop and figure out who we are before we can move on to a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
So a little bit of relationship advice: don't bounce from one ex to the next. Stop and learn who you are without someone else before you go into a relationship that may be questionable, because it'll give you more baggage that you don't need to carry. So
I just figured out what Justin meant. Sounds like you've looked into this, Dawn. No, I've never been married before.
So and just learn who you are and be happy with who you are. Figure out how to be happy with yourself before you try to add someone else to it, because I have to tell you, relationships of any kind are bloody horrible and stressful. I have a hard enough time with me is hard. The cat is hard. People are difficult. OMG. They have thoughts and opinions and they talk back. And so it's, make sure you know who you are and you're okay with you before you try to add in another personality. And you have to figure out how to...
Because I can't fit anymore in my head.
Right, the voices are... I have too many voices in my head. Sometimes you got so many voices in your head, you can't handle a relationship outside of your head because, yeah. For February, learn how to be you.
Buy yourself steak and lobster.
Yeah, take yourself out on a date. You don't have to be with someone to go out and have a good time. Just
Guy goes out for Valentine's Day by himself, goes to the bar, he buys 2 drinks. He drinks one, dumps the other on his right hand.
Oh, good grief.
Bartender says, "What'd you go and do that for?" He says, "I always buy a drink for my date."
Oh. Oh, my...
Oh, I'm tired.
I can't even with you. Don needs to go night-night now.
Oh, boy. Yeah, that'd be good.
So, crystals and stones, what calls to you? Write it down. Do your research. Get a book. Take a hand guide to figure out what stones you need and what it is what's calling to you. 2021 is finally, January is almost done. It's been like the longest flipping month ever. It's the longest month this year already. Oh my gosh.
It's been a long month.
And what is it that calls to you to help you survive February? February is supposed to be the shortest month this year. Let's not make it a long month. It's not January 2.0. And so what tools do you need? What do you need to make February smooth? Or at least not a roller coaster of adventure. And a sandwich sounds very good there, Jarvis. Aussie says, "Stones never call me, only scammers." Apparently the warranty on my car is ready to expire. No, my car is older than my daughter, so I don't think there's a warranty, and I'm not too worried about it. I will know by Friday when my surgery will be for my shoulder, and I will probably take a weekend off at least because there will be some painkillers involved, and I have a hard enough time following a thought from one end to the next without including painkillers. So, but we will burn that bridge when we get to it. I don't know. Anything else I need to remember to say in 20 seconds or less?
No. Not that I know of. It's your show.
Hey, does anybody know where my microphone is?
Titan said, Jess asked where Drama was earlier, and Titan said she's probably in the cat box burying your mic.
Yeah,
that would just piss me off.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing. It'll tick me right off. Oy. Yeah. Deep cleansing breath. So, I hope you guys have a fantastic weekend. Enjoy the little last bit of the full moonlight. Merry meet, merry part, and merry meet again. We'll see you next weekend.
Bye.